All right, we got to talk about Nebraska. I was on the call for that game in Lincoln. They they drove the ball down the football field early on, got off to a quick start. North Dakota was able to match them by the end of the half. It was an ugly game. The crowd was booing. They were sitting on their hands. The environment started off really good, and then it just kind of died a little bit until Nebraska started to take that game back over in the fourth quarter. But we saw what we typically have seen from this program. They turned the football over. Defensively, they were good at their top end, but inconsistent.
Yep.
Struggled to tackle. And then even after they're able to get, that kickoff after the penalty, you mishit the kick and people think Scott's trying to go for an onside again, which in that situation actually wouldn't have been bad in terms of the field position that you give up to take the chance. But after the week 0 thing, Scott's not trying to do that. Scott is not an idiot, guys. But the whole thing looks icky. Where are you at on this program, man?
I'm standing and dying on the hill of I don't know where they go from here. And I also think that I want so badly to give Scott the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, to your point, it's been the same old song and dance every Saturday for 18, 19, 20 weeks in a row now that we've had college football with them in terms of mistakes, what's happening. So we talked about it, I think, going into the offseason last year about culture change. And I don't really know how much happened, right? And that's only something that really, if you have an intimate view into the program, that you're going to see as a fan.
But isn't it hard to change a culture, Hack, when you have 20 new guys drop into your program as transfers and a bunch of freshmen that you're trying to get into?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make that argument, but then look at Mel Tucker and the job he's done at Michigan State. So
I'm not saying it can't be done, but that
I know I'm
task.
Hey, bro, I'm right there with you. But what I'm saying is if there's people that are doing it, it ain't like they're, you can figure it out.
Oh yeah.
But and then going back to what I started off with, I don't know where Nebraska goes from here. This is your prodigal son. You're no longer as tasteful as you once were in terms of facilities, a draw. Back in the 90s, no one wanted to schedule Nebraska. Now, come on, anyone's going to take them on right now. So, and that's a shift for Nebraska fans. And, they need to understand that. And I think if you depart from Scott Frost, the only option you have is somebody who's just desperate and been out of coaching and who really wants to coach again, because I don't think you're going to be able to go out and pull a primo guy to Lincoln, Nebraska right now, state of the program, everything that's going on. I don't think you're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. I don't foresee how Scott Frost can turn this thing around and make it pretty.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And it's a shame too, because I know that just from the number of times I've talked to him, how much it's weighing on him. And you come back home, you want to do well. And the thing is just kind of gone off the rails. But it's now the thing that I find interesting though, is I talk to people in coaching and I get a 50-50 vibe on Nebraska. Half of the guys are like, hell no, wouldn't do it. I'm gonna avoid it with all costs. And the other half of the guys are like, well, they're building a new football facility and there's a lot of booster money and they still got history. So it's probably not as bad as people say. I'm like you. I would avoid the job at all costs. I think that you probably got to find a guy who is a coordinator, who maybe has some ties to the school one way or another, grew up in the region, something like that. I don't think that you're getting a Luke Fickell type of head coach. That is out of the question. I don't think you're even getting a guy like a Billy Napier, who was maybe even on a lower platform than a Luke Fickell and did a hell of a job. I don't think you're getting a coordinator from a Michigan, Ohio State type of spot. I truly struggle to figure out who their legitimate targets would be in this situation.
Yeah. And that's why I say this whole situation's really hairy. do you give Scott the rest of the year, which I think they should do at least, because that gives you some time to see if maybe somebody does emerge. You know, you can do a little bit more digging, and who knows, you know, Scott may surprise the hell out of you. I always am going to throw that little teaser out there, throw that carrot out
You
there.
couldn't even say it with a straight face, bro.
I know I couldn't, but you know, who the hell knows?
We know nothing.
You know, I just think like give them the year, see what happens, and then you can really adjust. But I think a mid-season change will only make it less attractive and harder. That's just my opinion.
The issue that you get into is if other teams start firing coaches and you feel like it's inevitable at Nebraska, you got to make a move too, so you can get a jump start on the search committee, and you can talk to the guys that are your targets. Like I think the worst thing that they do is they end up waiting and they can't get in front of the issue when other teams are having those conversations too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this is a hard one. I feel for Scott. I couldn't imagine being him right now, having gone back home and couldn't get it right. Also, for the players in that locker room, I feel for those guys too, because a lot of them are just battling their ass off and things aren't going their way. That's a rough environment right now.
That's life though, man. I think these people will get out of it better. Everyone involved, they take it the right way.
Well, that's exactly what it comes down to, is like, you know, nobody ever envisioned it being like this. I think this is a big ass learning experience for everyone that was involved. And you can always flip it to a positive down the line.
What's going on, guys? Rob Doster here, the founder of the Field of 68 and the Field of 12 Media Networks. I wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know about an exciting new project that we have been working on for the last 3 months. The Almanac, an all-encompassing preview of the 2022-23 college basketball season. We spoke with every single Division I head coach to give you a robust and accurate preview for all 363 Division I college basketball teams. We have predictions for conference finishes for all 32 leagues. We have features on the best freshmen, the best big men, the breakout stars, the coaches on the hot seat, so much more. It is 600,000 words of sheer happiness for the college basketball fan in your life. The Almanac is going to be available for digital purchase on September 26th for just $19.99, but you can pre-order it today using the promo code HOOPS and save 20%. Just hit the link in the description below.